tongue. Democrat ass kissing. Ways of the self-ordained ruling class in the Republican Party. We call those rhinos. They call themselves Lincoln Project Republicans. One definitely wouldn't have to wonder what Lincoln himself would think of them. See, the Republican Party from its inception was a party of radicals, a party with clear objectives, a party of conviction, a party that was willing to lay down their lives for causes that were greater than themselves. Honestly, can you imagine these Lincoln Project Republicans of today trying to rid the nation of slavery? The thought alone would send them into a cardiac arrest. Truth is, today's Republicans in power are nothing remotely close to the Republicans of yesteryear. They are visionless, gutless, spineless, empty, and artificial. And if you ask me, Democrat women have more testosterone than most of the Republican men in power today. But don't just take my word for it. Plainly visible, whether locally, statewide, or nationally, Republicans are proving time and time again that they are incapable of leading, incapable of stopping Democrats, incapable of asserting power. In a word, they have proven themselves to be Republicans. Locally, they fight proposals to bring property taxes down, claiming the biggest lie of all, that it would hurt police and fire departments. The nerve, right? While they spin like drunken sailors on this pet project or that, they want us to believe they'd only be able to cut from public safety. The forcible closing of businesses while allowing protesters to do as they please, riot, steal, loot, bust folks upside the head, all okay. Shelley Luther just better not open up that hair salon. How about the statewides? Yes, the statewides, the most elusive. They get somewhat of a pass. Why, you ask? Well, they only meet every 2 years, and then only 140 days. So they're in and out before you even know what happened. Because of this, outside the borders of our once great nation, now state, everyone else thinks we're bright ruby red. And though all of our statewide offices may be held by Republicans for now, nothing, my friends, could be further from the truth. While they look from the outside in, wishing their states were like ours, we are looking from the inside out, wishing our governor was more like Ron DeSantis of Florida. Or that our state legislature were more like Arkansas's banning biological males from competing in women's sports. Arizona's conducting audits of their obviously fraud-ridden elections, because I don't know if y'all know, but Texas has a lot of fraud in our elections too. But since we're Republican, we seem too keen to ignore it, because for now it isn't affecting us. Project Veritas, an investigative journalist outfit based in New York, very small organization, came down to Texas and found out about Raquel Rodriguez. A lot of y'all heard about her. Who was one woman who admitted to handling thousands of ballots fraudulently. Imagine what our good-for-nothing, state-based news organizations with their millions of dollars and hundreds of investigative journalists would have found had they just searched. We also saw how Georgia's Republican legislature recently passed their election integrity bill. Meanwhile, here in Texas, we'd be lucky to get election protections passed out of committee and hope and pray that it's a committee chaired by a Republican. Oh, y'all ain't know. You mean to tell me that you did not know that your Republican-dominated legislature, the Speaker namely, but I promise I won't drop no names, Dave Phelan. Yes, our Republican Speaker with the blessings of your Republican state representatives, promised gavels, that's chairmanships of committees, to Democrats. This is how he became Speaker, and that is despite the fact that most of them pledged to only support a Speaker in caucus with no outside influence from Democrats. When inquired about this somewhat backwards participation trophy to a few state legislatures, the response was, to say the least, opaque. They told me, we have always done this. I find that ridiculous, and an incentive to get rid of whatever Republican that stands by this backwards tradition. 13 of the Chamber's 34 standing committees are chaired by Democrats. That's 13 chances a Republican-controlled legislature is giving a minority party, hostile to our policies, by the way, to kill Republican initiatives. My friends, can you fathom Texas Democrats, radical as they are, rabid in their views, affording Republicans that same gesture?
No.
Hell no, you can say it. Why cede to the losing party power the electorate refused to give them? Why do our politicians constantly try reaching across aisles that are uncrossable? And each time they come back with less manhood than they went over there with. Why do we constantly put up with this? Then when something we had tagged as legislative priorities is killed in committee or not passed at all, we can't even get our camera-loving governor to call a special session. But you know what? We can't blame them. We only have ourselves to blame. We continue to elect them, whether locally, statewide, or federally. We continue to elect them, and they continue to screw us. Y'all gonna have to excuse me through this speech, okay? And as if playing a record on repeat, because we hadn't had enough the first few times, listening to Tammy Wynette headed to these polls for the primaries, we are suddenly stricken with battered women syndrome and standing by our man. That, my friends, is why Texas is at best purple, not the bright ruby red we would like it to be. This is why we lose elections. We have run our base into the ground. We feel no need to defend them, let alone vote for them. In the Texas House, we have been offering up and passing purple legislation in a supposedly red legislature. They don't believe in our principles, philosophy, or ideology, let alone defend them when put to the test. When asked why, they'll tell you such bullcrap excuses like the demographics are changing. We have to change with the times and back down off of some of our beliefs and ideas if we are to stay viable. Bullshit. Conservatism is the right philosophy, whether you are black or white, rich or poor. My friends, that Republican Party, its emptiness, its pessimism, its shared defeatism, its established order, its refusal to stand and fight unflinchingly, if it fights at all, for the values, beliefs, and principles that we hold dear, that Republican Party is gone. So how do we win? Donald Trump answered that all too plainly. We win by doubling down on what it is we believe in. If we believe in school choice, we go to the voter, particularly the voters who would most appreciate it, in this case, minorities, and we explain to them why school choice is better for their children than the failing school system they are in now. If we believe in property rights, we go to these voters, explain to them why taxes, zoning, federal housing regulations, etc. is important when considering their property rights. Explain to them the reasons we fight against higher property taxes, burdensome regulations, because it would prevent them from owning and even being able to afford to stay in the homes they worked so hard for. And for renters, because I don't know about y'all, but I got a lot of folks that rent in my family. Okay, we come from a long line of renters. We're trying to be some owners, okay? And for renters, that of course, their rents go up when property taxes go up. While caveating that with how wonderful it will also be for them to eventually own the land that they rent. My friends, not for us to decide that the minority voter, or any voter for that matter, is too stupid or unwilling to understand our message. Thus, we should make an effort at delivering it to them, only that we should tailor it to them, dumb down the core principles of our message to fit them in a way we think they want it to. That is pandering. That is a turnoff, not only to them, but our base. Make the effort. Offer conservative governance, whether locally, statewide, or federally to them, unbridled and unashamed. That they too may experience the joys of private property, the rights that come with it, better schooling because their neighborhoods are safer. Thus, more investment has gravitated to them, bringing jobs, wealth, and opportunities that the Democrats have long promised but failed for many decades to produce. Convince the voters, as President Trump did, of what strong Republican local and state governance can offer them. We can only do that with strong, determined leadership coupled with strong conviction. So right, we are in fact at a turning point, Ms. Cheney. Donald Trump came along and showed us what real leadership looks like. And it's not that great value version chocolate Jesus offered us not too long ago. That would be Obama, for y'all don't know. That leading from behind garbage. Y'all heard of that, right? Yeah. He's shown us the endless possibilities of a party led with grit and determination to hold true to their principles, stand firm in their convictions, while enacting and enforcing policies we believe in. My friends, President Trump has charted a new course, a course that is right for the character of our party, a course that is right for the stability of our party, a course that is right for the prosperity of our party. Donald Trump has charted a course that is right indeed for the future and soul of our party. Donald Trump has saved our party, whether they want to believe it or not. So to Ms. Cheney, Mr. Kinzinger, Mr. Romney, Mr. Bush, and anybody else who feels so inclined to lump themselves in with this ungrateful group of aged out, tired, out of line, out of spec, out of touch has-beens, hear me clearly. In my best Oprah Winfrey voice, your time is up. Your service is no longer needed. You may exit stage left. And to those of you left standing with us today, a mighty burden now rests on our shoulders. Get active. We have a nation to restore back to the greatness that is, in my view, its birthright. Walking in the faith that God has given us and defending the freedom he has entrusted with us. Welcome to the new, inspired, and invigorated Republican Party. Until we meet again, God bless you and God keep you. Matt, Pastor Gibson, thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Well, I told you she could speak, right? Anybody ready to get some dinner? Yeah, we're going to dismiss you guys real quick. So Chad Prather's going to take the stage.